All right, what's up everybody? We'll go ahead and get started in just a moment. Thanks so much for joining us on this rainy Friday night again. I think this is the fourth day in a row it's been raining in New York, but fingers crossed. I did check the weather outlook for tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny, so we'll see. Once again, apologies for being late. It was another crazy day, but we'll get started in a minute. Thanks, everybody. And as always, we're currently here at Central Park South. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Walks in Wall Street. Today is Friday, August 9, 2024. It's currently about 9:41 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are reporting live from Central Park South. Yet again, another rainy day in New York. Now, as we know, it was a very volatile week on Wall Street, but the market's been making a lot of progress. However, if you look at some of the major equity indices and some of the other asset classes that we cover, like Bitcoin and the like, what you'll see is many major names and many major assets have rallied back to their major moving averages, such as the 200-day or the 50-day moving average. What I think we'll see, well, I think if I first may say, I think the worst of the sell-off is over. I think that low on the S&P futures, I think that low on the E-mini futures, for the NASDAQ 100, I think that was probably the low for the year. Now, we may retest, we may have a sell-off Monday or Tuesday, but I think just with everything that I'm kind of seeing, with sentiment, also with the VIX kind of really coming down here and collapsing, I think that was your main, shakeout and major sell-off for the year. So definitely something to watch. In addition, you actually do see a little bit of strength here in some of the leading names, regaining their 50s, regaining their 200 days, and you're starting to see fund flows into some leading stocks, which is pretty good news. So we'll talk about that tonight, maybe a shorter than normal live stream. We're standing directly across the street from 220 Central Park South. This is one of the most sought-after buildings in New York City. And as always, it's extremely cloudy, so you can't even see the top of the Steinway building. And you can just see a little bit of 157. So let's see who we have in the chat and let's get started. Hopefully everyone had a good week. Brad's Brain, cheers. Sally, Doc 7, Trade Brigade, what's going on? New England Crypto, Professor Dario, cheers. Peter, oh, that's good news. If it looks like most of the rain is moving out of New York. I think I told you guys yesterday, but I'm starting to get a little bit of seasonal depression because we haven't seen the sun in New York City in literally 4 days. It's been darkness, overcast for 4 whole days in New York City. It's been crazy. This is a good view of 220 Central Park South. Gene Alexander, what's up? Thanks for joining us. UniJ23, Jamie Price, Tatted T. Hope everyone's well. Creative is here. Joel PM says take some vitamin D. I think I just may get on a plane and head to Miami. I think that's probably what I'm going to do on Tuesday because I have tenants moving out tomorrow morning and I have new people moving in 4 days. So it's going to be a busy week next week for travel. I'm not too sure how many live streams I'm going to be able to do because I have to get some things squared away in the 305 and then come back to New York, and then I'm going to go to Asia for about 2 weeks. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I'll probably post something on our community page, but from the 19th maybe until, let me pull up my calendar. Maybe the 29th, I'm going to be away. So we're not going to have a live stream from August 19th until August 29th. So we'll be back live on that Friday, the 30th of August. So now, this is a pretty rainy day. The umbrella's not really going to do much because it's like this misty, kind of nasty rain. So we're going to have to be wiping the camera lens almost every 2 seconds. So just bear with us. Hey, DP is here. It's happy Friday. Have a great walk. See you later. Thanks so much. Alex77. This is Asia. I'm jealous. Yeah, so I'm going to be going to Korea and then I'm going to be going to Singapore, which I'm really excited about because Singapore is a powerhouse economy in Asia. It's a very futuristic city. It's a very pro-business city. So I'm excited. Should be cool. Hey Cosmo, what's up? I know, this is wow, Singapore, you'll want to move there. That's what I've been hearing, so That's what I've been hearing from a lot of people, and it should be fun. I'll say that, it should be fun. I'm going to be meeting up with some good friends over there. It'll be interesting to kind of compare and contrast the lifestyle. That's kind of what I'm most interested in, like the business environment, the lifestyle between Seoul, Korea, between Singapore and New York. Now, from what I hear, I think the biggest thing from what I've been hearing is not really just the cleanliness of, well, the country and the city itself, but also just how well run everything is, and maybe it's just a cultural thing. Michael's is for vacation or business, a little both, a little mix. But I think we talked about fund flows a few streams ago, and it's very, very clear the countries where money is flowing to. Obviously, US is a big one. Argentina is another big one. But Singapore and, well, I should just say Singapore is one of those places where money is really flowing. You're seeing outflows from Brazil. You're seeing outflows from the UK in general. I'm very concerned, and it's a little bit sad. I'm not sure if anyone here is watching from the UK or if anyone has ever been to the UK. You know, what's going on there is not good. It's not good, and you're starting to see a lot of people move money out of the United Kingdom. I even know a lot of clients, some family offices that I work with, they're trying to move as much out of the United Kingdom as possible, unfortunately. So hopefully things will change around there. As we like to say, follow the money. If you look at global fund flows, capital will go to the place of least resistance, and where capital creation is the easiest. I mean, it'll benefit us here in the United States, but this is a very cool view, a little bit ominous though, with the clouds right here at Central Park. Yeah, Alan says the whole world is in turmoil, it seems. It's a really, really crazy time. Crazy, crazy time to be alive, but hopefully things get better. Here's a look at Central Park. But Cosmo, you travel a lot. Have you been to, what is that? Oh, that's a bird. I thought that was something else. Look at that guy just perched on the fence there. I was looking at it from afar and I'm like, what the hell is that thing? And here we have 15 Central Park West. Peter, I think you're right, the egret. I don't think there's a lot of them in Miami, but there's a bird that looks very, very similar to that. And I have so many of them wandering around my front yard, particularly after it rains. All right, let's start to head down. I just wanted to make a quick pass at 15 Central Park West. It's one of my favorite buildings. It's beautiful here. But this is the main lobby of the Trump International Hotel and Tower, but on the residential side. It's quite nice. And then that's 220 Central Park South. But speaking of fund flows and things like that, I think as Americans, we should be very, very optimistic about what's happening in Argentina right now. We should be very, very happy and optimistic about that, because that is going to help, whether you believe it or not. That's really going to boost the US economy as well. And it really only takes one country in the region to kind of show proof of concept, if you will. So if things really start to turn around in Argentina, which it looks like it is, I mean, inflation is actually going down. Crazy to think. I mean, Argentina has some of the highest inflation in the world, and you're starting to see material progress with inflation coming down. So it only takes one to show proof of concept that, hey, this free market thing, this free market capitalism is working, to kind of set a spark in the region and, for lack of a better term, cause a contagion. And that would be very positive strategically for the United States. Charles D says Palantir closed above $30 today. Great milestone. It did. I was thinking about Brad today. I set an alert on my interactive brokers, and I got an alert, Palantir trading over $30. Now, did it close above 30? Let me see. Let's look at it right now. But you're right, that's big. Oh, we're spitting distance away from new record highs for Palantir. Let me check it out.
I don't know what it was.
We did. We closed right at 30.01 for Palantir. See, that looks like a very, very good IPO base, my friends. There's a really good book if you want to learn about IPOs. It's called Life Cycle Trade. And this is a textbook stage 1 IPO base. I don't own any Palantir, but it's looking like if we get a significant pop and a significant close over 30, I'll probably go after it. Hey, Jeffrey says, what is the thing about Dominican Republic economic? I'm not too sure. I'm not really familiar with the DR to be able to speak about it, but I mean, is that where you're from? Are you from the Dominican Republic? I went to college with a lot of friends and people from the DR. I mean, believe it or not, there's a big community in New York City of people from the DR. Lots of good food. I used to work just north of Ocean Hill, Brooklyn, just north of East New York. And when I used to work there, I used to go to the bodegas that would sell Dominican food. It was the first time I ever tried Dominican food. It was really good. I haven't had it in a long time. Hey, Troy Atman says, Tom, any reason for that huge pop today with Palo Alto Networks? That was a big move today, almost 5% up. I don't know. I think, the stock has been basing for a while. I've been building a bigger position throughout that base. And I think with the self-inflicted wound from CrowdStrike, what I'm expecting is next earnings report, potentially, you're going to start to see some very big accounts shift to other cybersecurity companies. Because if you can have a massive self-inflicted wound that absolutely, quite literally, shuts down part of the US infrastructure at some of the major Fortune 500 companies, so much so that I think Delta Airlines is suing CrowdStrike for damages, you're going to start to see some churn. Whether you like it or not, you are going to see some churn, particularly after that tweet that Elon Musk put out. He said something, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. He said something along the lines of, none of my companies will be using CrowdStrike infrastructure. So you'll probably see a few big accounts with, $1 million plus ARR, move to Palo Alto. Generally speaking, my thesis, my bull thesis in general on cybersecurity continues. I mean, just look at all the craziness that's going on in the world now, particularly leading up into an election year. This election cycle, if you think it's crazy now, everyone, okay? And I respect all political opinions if you are, pro-Harris, pro-Trump, doesn't matter to me. But I think one thing that we could all agree on is the craziness has just started. The closer we get to election day, there's going to be, with this isn't even like up for debate, there are going to be foreign entities and foreign actors trying to shut down critical infrastructure, both in the public and private sector. That's just 100% guarantee. So given that thesis, right, do you think that governments, local municipalities, state local governments, and even school districts, utilities companies, do you think they're going to be doubling down on cybersecurity spending, or are they going to get lackadaisical? You can fill in the blanks. Hey, Joel PM says switching costs for endpoint security is high. Many will stay with CrowdStrike but demand discounts. I used to sell some endpoint security software. There's this, forgetting the name. How am I blanking on this name? I sold a ton of this software. But anyway, let's wait for the ambulance to go. The founder of this company was one of the top guys. Was one of the top guys at Microsoft. CodeProof. Satish is his name. He's a really, really good guy. But we sold thousands of licenses of CodeProof. I'm surprised. I don't even know if they've got acquired or what. But yes, endpoint security management, it's a pain in the ass to deploy, because think about a big Fortune 500 company, right? Let's say if they have quite literally 10, 20,000 devices in the field between tablets, cell phones, desktops, laptops, to rip and replace that, oftentimes you have to either send it in. Like during COVID, we would have customers package things up and send it into our office, and we would do the install, or you have to bring it into the office if you have a dedicated IT team, and they initiate that install. And depending on what you want to set up the profile with, because I would sell into a lot of healthcare companies, particularly home healthcare, nursing homes, and hospitals. So I would be on a call, let's say with the CTO of a big hospital chain, and I would be with my engineer, and we would build their profile, right? Okay, do we want Epic pushed remotely to these devices? Do we want HHA Exchange? Do we want Viventium, or whatever their payroll processor is? And you'd build these profiles, and then you could, once the profile is complete, you can mass push that out to devices. You could remotely ban some different websites. You can lock the device down so that people can't download other applications and charge it to the corporate network. So it is a heavy lift. But after something like that, I was on the sales side of this, and there's going to be some enterprise account executives really, really hammering these CTOs about making the switch, or even adding more products, right? Or adding more products within the infrastructure, right? That's something we would call land and expand. So oftentimes, if you're selling SaaS, if you're at a company or selling software, you would have the account executive close the deal, and then once the deal is closed, that account would get transferred over to another department like business development, and the business development reps would work and handle that account and try to sell them more stuff. So we'll see. I mean, maybe you're right. I think overall you're right. But after something as big as that, I don't know. I think you're going to see a little bit of churn. So we'll see. Hey, Diana, what's up? Solo Flyer. This is what's up, Tom. Stay dry out there. Yeah, we're trying. We're definitely trying. The frustrating thing is you can kind of see how it's raining if you look in the headlights of the vehicles. But it's like this misty rain that's kind of coming down sideways. So you can't even really use the umbrella to stay dry. So, hey, JC is here. Anna, cheers. ABBA, I'm doing very well. How are you? Larry Adams, Brad's Brain says, I still cannot comprehend how CrowdStrike isn't at zero. Is the stock just too big to fail? Just crazy to me. Their mistake was unforgivable. It's their business, for sure. I'd say the stock is probably cooked for about a year or more. But time heals all wounds. Whether we like it or not, time does heal all wounds. And I think most people will forget about it within a year. Hey, what's up, AI Bob? Good to see you. Says, yep, CrowdStrike, too big, probably like the Equifax debacle. Oh, that reminds me. You know what I was going to tell everyone? So I don't know if this was spam or not, because I never use Ticketmaster. I don't buy tickets. Maybe I bought tickets for a friend or something like that. But I got a letter in the mail from Ticketmaster saying that my account was compromised, or there was pretty much all of their database of current customers who ever purchased something from Ticketmaster was compromised. Their login information was compromised. Did anybody else get that letter in the mail? I didn't really do anything about it because I never buy tickets to anything. And I think I only used the website once to buy something for clients. Middle Age says, we got the Ticketmaster letter too. Wow, it looks like a lot of people did. Frank got it. Brian got it. That's insane. Brad says, I got that same exact letter from Ticketmaster today. So it's like, I mean, what the hell, guys? This is crazy. This is just another... At this point, maybe we can take it a step further and say this. At this point, we just need to accept the fact that all of our personal information at some point in our lives is going to be floating out on the internet. I think it's gotten to that point, I really do. And that's not to fearmonger, that's just to say that's the reality of the situation in a digital world. Things get compromised, internal corporate systems get hacked. I mean, it's with 100% certainty at this point, my credit card information is floating around somewhere. I mean, the only thing you could do is if you see a fraudulent charge, just call the bank, have them reverse it, cancel it, and then get another card. I mean, at this point, and not to say that, hey, this is another thing that fuels my thesis on bullish cybersecurity, but it's kind of true. I mean, it's 2024. If you think cybercrime is not going to grow exponentially from 2024 to 2034, you're crazy. So, go to where the expanding TAM is. And there is a huge expanding total addressable market for cyber criminals, unfortunately. So we're now outside of Carnegie Hall. And check out that view of 157. Hey, TK Porsche, good to see you. Joel PM says, I got the Ticketmaster notice on July 10th. Yeah, M. Howell says, walks on Wall Street. Now let's wait to file the class action lawsuit letter. Yeah, we'll probably get something like that in the mail. And then we'll probably get like a check for 35 cents in the mail. Generally speaking, however, and this is sort of the way I was taught in the investment business, is if you're looking to make an investment, start with how big the market is for that particular company, right? Because that is going to be your growth gauge. So if you're investing in, like a brick and mortar store, that sells, I don't know, stationary or something. Well, the total addressable market for that is probably going to be pretty small, and the scalability of the business is probably going to be even smaller, right? Brick and mortar businesses. So generally speaking, you want to, skate to where the puck is going. You want to do some research on that specific market to see if the TAM is going to be growing exponentially over the next 10 years. And then you want to say, okay, if the market is big enough, is the company that I'm investing in equipped to scale? What's the scalability? What's its distribution model? And over the last decade, a lot of these enterprise software companies have had the textbook growth model, right? Land and expand, predictable revenue, reoccurring revenue. This is West 55th Street. Let's go ahead and make this left. We'll head back over to 6th Avenue. Man, this block is a little rough. This building looks almost like it's condemned. The whole thing looks blown out. A lot of these older buildings off of 7th Avenue as you head down into Times Square are a little bit shot. Lots of for rent. Maybe we'll take a quick walk down 6th Avenue. Yeah, that's true. That's another thing that we need to keep an eye out on. AT&T has gotten some major security breaches, which I think is being covered up. Not to get too conspiratorial, but that's my take. Donna says, do I drive when I'm in New York? Very seldom. Very, very seldom do I drive. Hey, Daytona Gal. What's going on? NG is here. This is 6th Avenue. I think this is the Conrad Hotel, or it was. I think it's named something else now. That's 53 West 53rd. on us is how are AT&T customers not switching to other providers. I think it's just the pain to change, as we talked about. I have Verizon. But from like a market standpoint, I actually think I actually think T-Mobile is best positioned to build out a true 5G network, in my view. It's really nice in here. It's very unique. It is quite humid though. This has been raining so much. Jay Sully says, how do you think that about T-Mobile? What sets them apart? Well, they really benefited from that merger with Sprint, which really wasn't even a merger, it was pretty much an acquisition. Sprint was in a really, really bad place. But it's funny because Sprint was actually positioned the best to actually build out a 5G network. It's just that they didn't have the money. They had the assets, but they just didn't have the money. And when I'm talking about they had the assets, I'm talking about the spectrum. They had the most mid-band spectrum that is primed to build out a 5G network, which requires low latency, high throughput. It's just they didn't have any money. So most people, and I read a lot of analyst reports on this, so like this is going to be very bullish for T-Mobile because obviously they're going to acquire all the customers that Sprint had. It's not really the customers that, I mean, yeah, it's obviously nice to acquire all those customers, but it was great to acquire all that spectrum. And if you think about it, it saved them a lot of money because they didn't have to go buy it from the government through spectrum auctions. If you want to have your mind blown, go ahead and do some research on how much it costs to purchase spectrum from these spectrum auctions. And that's really, really putting Verizon at a disadvantage here because they have to have so much capital outlay to acquire that spectrum. T-Mobile already has it. T-Mobile already has it. Thanks to Sprint. Now before Sprint, who remembers Nextel? Anybody remember that company Nextel? That push-to-talk, the chirp-chirp devices? A lot of the NASCAR races used to be sponsored by Nextel way back in the day. That's like that push-to-talk chirp device. I think we've spoken about it before. Nicholas is my mom used to work for Nextel. Very nice. Chances are, if you were working for Nextel in sales, you made a lot of money and you did really, really well back in the day. Almost every single major hospitality, construction, industrial company had Nextel. It was like a monopoly. Here we are at West 53rd Street and Avenue of the Americas. We're looking down towards Radio City Music Hall. And we'll check out 53 West 53rd. This is kind of a cool shot with the rain. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams pretty much every day starting at 8:45. Look at how unique the Steinway Tower looks. Butler says my first cell phone was through Bell South. DC322, what's up? New York City really looks like Gotham City. particularly tonight. Yeah, Brad says I still miss Nextel. Push to Talk was phenomenal. Now, what really derailed that? I think it was a merger that derailed that, right? And they pretty much screwed over all the Nextel customers with that merger. I'm forgetting the name of it, though. Here's that 53 restaurant. Hey, Lark, what's up? Says, hey, Tom and everybody, what's happening? Yes, I agree. New York City does look like Gotham, particularly tonight. This has been the 4th day of rain, my friend. 4 days of rain. Crazy. Let's see if anyone's eating down here. We got a few people down here. That's a good question. Marketing Videography says, do you think Cisco can make a comeback? Had a company and worked with them back in 2000. I don't know, in terms of the stock, well, if I'm not mistaken, Cisco is still trading lower than where it was when it topped in the year 2000. We'll see. Guys, look at how foggy the door is at 53 West 53rd Street. That's insane, isn't it? That just gives you an idea of just how humid it is tonight. Crazy, right? Hey, Jonathan from Florida is here. What's up, Jonathan? I will be in Florida next week. Looking forward to it. Hey, Tim, so just wanted to let you know that my daughter and I watch your streams often. We enjoy your walks through New York and Miami. Well, thanks so much for supporting. Appreciate your viewership. And enjoy the weekend. It's Friday, thank God, after the crazy week that we had. Is that right? The Yankees game got rained out today, Parker? I didn't know that. Did the Yankees play last night? Because I was in Penn Station late last night, and there was tons of people wearing Yankees jerseys.
How much you got left? 10 minutes. Everybody, why everybody? 10 minutes.
Doc Sevens 2 watched Elon on Lex's podcast. Didn't someone say that Elon and Trump were supposed to do an interview? When is that going to happen? Is that happening? Was that today? I forget. It's Monday, MD. Copy that. I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting. There's a restaurant over here that was very popular at one point. Anyone familiar with that Salt Bay? The guy was like kind of a meme. There's never anyone in this place. I hear it's extremely, extremely expensive, but every time I walk past it, there's not a person in here. There's maybe like 2 people in there. If you look at the dining room, there's one group of people eating. All of it's empty over here. All of it's empty over here. There's maybe 4 groups of people here. But if we were to walk past Del Frisco's tonight, you couldn't get a table. Probably, you honestly couldn't get a table in Del Frisco's tonight. But this Salt Bay restaurant, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just they're way too expensive. There's never anyone in here. And this is at a time when restaurants are rocking in New York City. I never see anyone in there. Anyone know why? Anyone has ever been there? Holy crap, Gord's is 2 people, $1,000 each? No way. $1,000 each? There's no way it could be $1,000 a head. That is insanity. Just a Guy says it's the same thing in Brickell. I didn't even know there was a Salt Bay restaurant in Brickell. Now, Just a Guy, you know what I'm interested in checking out when we go to Brickell, or excuse me, downtown Miami. It was weird. Outside of the Aston Martin residences. I'm interested in seeing the Gordon Ramsay restaurant, seeing if that's packed. The last 2 times I went there, it seemed pretty packed right outside of Aston Martin. Check out this building. Oh, guys, I went here with a buddy of mine the other day. This place is fantastic. It's really, really good coffee. Watch House. It's very expensive, but this is probably some of the best coffee I've ever had in my life. Hold on, give me a second. All right, let's cross. Sorry. Yeah, so my friend works at this company. It's a really, really interesting company. It's called Dalupa, if you want to check it out. Now, the founder was one of the top traders at .72 Asset Management. Now, if you don't know .72, that is, if you ever heard of the New York Mets, the owner of the Mets, well, that's his hedge fund, Steve Cohen. And one of their top traders broke off to found this company, Dalupa, which is essentially, it's like a plug-in and an extension that uses some sort of AI to scrape all of the data on SEC.gov and all the financial statements and automatically exports it to Excel and builds, your DCF models for you and all your different financial models. It's a pretty interesting company, and they sell to all the major hedge funds. I was having a meeting with him right there. He's a good friend of mine. He's on the sales team there, so he travels the country and meets with all the top hedge funds, family offices trying to sell this product. It's an interesting company if you want to look into it. We're on the corner of 52nd Street and 5th. Tones is, what is it called again? It's called Daloopa. I think it's Daloopa. I believe they just raised their Series A. I was supposed to meet the CEO a few weeks ago. I just haven't been able to. I was super busy. This is St. Patrick's Cathedral. Oops. We'll take one lap around Rockefeller Center. Oh, a little road rage. Fun feeds. I'm not a big fan of that Lavazza. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Lavazza or something? I actually don't like the taste of it. Sammy Woo says, do you think you'd ever move out of New York City? Probably not. Probably not. I just think there's too much opportunity here. You always have to have a base in the city. Now, you could buy something, in Miami, you could buy something in San Francisco, but make sure you always have a place in New York. Particularly if you're in finance, real estate. It's very, very important to have a presence in New York City always. But that doesn't mean you can't buy something in San Francisco. It doesn't mean you can't buy something in San Diego or Miami. Just make sure you have something here. You always got to make sure you have something here, in my opinion. And if you're early on in your career, I would go to a big city. The younger you are, the earlier you are on in your career, you should head to big cities because that's where the opportunity is, and that's really where you're going to grow your network. here we are at Rockefeller Center. Professor Dario. Yeah, you should definitely get one. Central Park West and Sutton Place. I concur.
Get ready for amazing moves on late night and hold your breath for underwater artistry.
Stephen F., I concur on that as well. That's such a good point. The Wall Street tree is much better than the main tree right here at Rockefeller Center. I agree 100%. It's less crowded, and I think it looks a little bit nicer there too. And you have a good view from Federal Hall. Now, the only thing about the Olympics that I did watch, I watched the basketball game, the highlights. I watched all of the U.S. men's basketball, and to me, it was entertaining, but also at the same time not entertaining. Because the players that we have in the U.S. are so much better than everyone else, where it's like too obvious. It seems as if our players are like at practice. You know, we have LeBron James, KD, Steph Curry. Like if you go and watch the highlights of any of the men's basketball games, it's just Steph Curry nailing it three after three after three after three. It's like constant. It's like, my God, are they ever gonna, relent, let up a little bit? It's crazy. That's how good those guys are. So who do they play in the final for the gold medal game? Oh wow, they're playing France. That'd be cool if France, obviously I want the US to win, but that'd be cool if France won in Paris. It'd be awesome. Obviously I hope not, but hey, 10 Red Buff, or Bluff. This is the Saturday Night Live movie, is opening soon, all New York, the 24 hours leading up to that first show. I believe we were live streaming the movie set for that. Does anyone remember that? This was maybe 6 months ago? Maybe a little more than that. We were on the set of that Saturday Night Live movie, and they had all those original taxi cabs from the 70s. It was pretty cool. I'll probably check that out. That's probably one of the weakest horns I've ever heard. So you can see right inside of 1221 Avenue of the Americas, Del Frisco's is packed. Absolutely packed. You know where I want to go? I actually want to go into Grand Central Terminal. I haven't been in there in a long time. We're now approaching New York City's Diamond District, West 47th Street. NAV 407, always a pleasure to see you. Let's check the ticker tape. I always like looking at it over here at the bullion dealers. 47th Street is probably one of the most interesting streets in New York City, and I'll tell you why. If you're looking at it right now, you think, oh wow, this is dead. Everything looks, you know, closed down, dilapidated, and vacant. But it's like a 180 during the day. This is probably one of the busiest streets in New York City during the day. 47th Street, Diamond District, between 5th and 6th. It looks so closed down because they obviously take everything out of the windows, they lock everything up. As you can see, it's just cool to see the difference. And there's cameras everywhere. There's like 80 trillion different cameras here, obviously. That's another thing. Gold has been performing really, really well. And speaking of diamonds, I just realized this. You see the 270 Park JP Morgan Chase building with the diamonds. It's literally right on the corner of the Diamond District. And the CEO of JP Morgan Chase is Jamie Dimon. Coincidence or subliminal messaging? Maybe they don't have the live tickers up today. They usually do. And inside are each individual like boutique shops, different jewelers. It's pretty cool.
I have to like come myself.
Wow, look at this. I totally missed this. You would never even know there's a new development project here. 27 West 47th Street, if you want to take a look at it. It's going to be a new residential project, and it's just squeezed. Look at that. It's squeezed right in the middle of all these buildings. It's so thin. Let's check it out. Anticipated completion September 2024. Yeah, no shot. No way. Maybe September 2026. You ever think there's like little mini fragmented pieces? Ah, this is the ticker tape. Palladium 908, platinum 920, gold 2430. We may hit 2500 gold over the weekend. It's cool to come here after hours and see all the stuff empty. You can't even see the top of one Vanderbilt. It's so cloudy. But what do you guys think of the architecture on 270 Park? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I really like it. I think this building looks incredible. We might as well take a little bit of a walk around the construction site. It's very convenient and very smart that they put an NYPD cruiser right in the Diamond District. So to deter theft, like for people coming here, rolling up and smashing the windows and try to break in. You'd be surprised it happens. Right next to my office, I think I told you guys about this. Right on the corner, and granted, this is where some of the most expensive real estate in the entire world is, right next to my office on 57th Street. 57th and Park, there's this really nice jewelry store. It sits adjacent from 432 Park Avenue. I think this was about a year now, maybe a year ago even to the day. After hours, this guy takes a minivan and rams it through the front door, smashes all of the glass. There's like 5 people that pile out of the minivan, steal all the stuff, and drive away. Right on 57th Street and Park. It's crazy. You can hear the construction going on. Wow, look at this. Look at this little mom and pop Phil Stationery Office Supplies. It says cheers to 50 years. Isn't that amazing? You never really see small mom and pop businesses like this anymore, particularly in Midtown Manhattan. They just sell like little journals, little sticky notes, calendars, passports. I'm surprised they could even do enough volume to make the rent on that, to be honest. Well, cheers to Phil's stationery and office. It's amazing. This is the consulate to Algeria. That's pretty cool. Wow, look at that. 270 Park. And 432 Park in the distance. You can barely see it. You could also barely see the top of One Vanderbilt too. It's like we've been living in a cloud for the past 4 days. I know Cynthia Ava's like crazy jackhammering. Could you imagine living on this block with 270 Park going up? Constant welding, constant jackhammering. Pretty much 24/7. All right, let's go ahead and make a left and we'll head into Grand Central Terminal. And we'll take a look.
You want to go home?
This is Madison Avenue, by the way. All right, let's make this left. We have the light. This is the Roosevelt Hotel. I think there's also another location of Black Fox Coffee just up and to the left. Right here, Black Fox. All right, Vanderbilt Avenue. We're going to pass the Yale Club. Which is still covered in scaffolding. Ah, Thomas. I know what you're talking about. I think that mini tunnel starts at 36th Street and Park and goes up. And then it comes right out just before Grand Central Station, right at Pershing Square, if that's the one you're talking about. I've actually walked through that before. We may have actually done it on the stream.
I have.
So here, you could enter the subway. So there's a subway entrance that is directly in 1 Vanderbilt. And you can go down and around to Metro North and Long Island Railroad too. All right, let's head in. Let's see how crowded it is on a Friday night. We'll go in the old entrance. This is also by the Campbell Apartments. I'll quickly show you the Metro North lines. So you have the Hudson River line, Harlem line, and then the New Haven line. This may be locked. No, it's good. Da, 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 da. Ba-da-boom. What do you guys think? Closing everything up. But it's such a beautiful train hall. I mean, it's insane. Maybe there's some train delays. You see people sitting on the floor. It's possible. That little black speck right here is what the station used to look like when you were allowed to smoke in here. It was all nasty tar, and they left that little rectangle as a reminder. There's actually more people in here than I expected, and everyone's sitting on the floor. Maybe there's some sort of delay. Let's go into the tracks. Track 24. These must be really, really old Metro North cars. Let's see how far down we can walk without the internet going out. What year do you think these cars are from? Maybe the early 90s, maybe even a little bit before? LT Prods is 80s, Sabrina Ferris is 85. Yeah, I didn't want to overshoot it. Look at how cool that is. State of Connecticut, Metro North. Some of the Long Island Railroad cars are so old, it's crazy. The further down we go, the hotter it gets.
Attention customers, for your safety and safety of others, please do not sit on the floor or stairs in Grand Central Terminal. Thank you for your cooperation.
Honestly, on the tracks, it probably feels like 90 degrees. Maybe like 80, 85, 90 degrees. And that's when it's cold outside. So I can only imagine what it feels like down here on like a 90-degree day in New York. Look at all that dust. It looks like that dust has accumulated down there since I was born. So this is a POV. Let's say you live in upstate New York. You're getting off the train. This is your view as you enter Grand Central Station. It's a pretty legit entranceway. Let's go down into the dining concourse. When we get to the bottom, you'll see the Whisper Wall. Look at how beautiful these chandeliers are here. This is the Oyster Bar. This is a very famous place. Closed down for a little bit during the COVID pandemic. So this is that whisper wall. If you stand on one side, you stand in that corner, and you talk into it, the sound will travel all the way around to here. I don't think there's too much open down here. Just the Shake Shack. There's actually quite a few people at the Shake Shack. The good thing about Grand Central Station is they have internet. The Moynihan Train Hall there's no cell service in the train. I should say in the train hall facility. I will take the escalators back up. And we'll go out the 1 Vanderbilt entrance. I sometimes go to this Starbucks. Very seldom, but I sometimes go there. This is the Zaros. They have good black and white cookies here. But we're actually we're not gonna go out this way, we're gonna go out the other way. If it's still open, or they may close this entrance at night. No, looks like they leave it open, so. You'll get to see what it's like inside the new 1 Vanderbilt building and the other entrance up the stairs. And they really do blast the air conditioning here. Doesn't this look cool, modern, and new? So if you were to make a right, this will take you into the offices, which obviously we can't go in. See how they kind of shadow frosted out? It says tenants only. That's where you would go if you work here. But this is the public train entrance. And then as we head out, this should all look familiar to you now. This is where we went in. Oh my, so did we show the Campbell apartment entrance? We can. The entrance is here. So you would walk in here and then up the stairs, and then that's the Campbell bar. Not bad, right? What do you think? In this building over here, I used to have to physically go in here and pay my rent. That was a long, long time ago. So we'll head back over to Madison Avenue. And then we'll head back uptown. Francis says, how many videos are penalized because of the copyright music? Probably most of our live broadcasts are, for sure. Over 80%, I'd say. Thomas, they haven't implemented the congestion pricing yet. The governor in New York, Kathy Hochul, made a temporary stop to it. Hey, what's up, Steve? Well, everyone, it is getting a little late, and I think I'll call it a night. But I will tell you this. I know we were supposed to be in Soho tonight. I know we were supposed to go over the Manhattan Bridge. I know. But we will do that tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will be a bit more permitting than it is now, which I'm sure it will be. So thanks everyone for joining. If you enjoyed the stream, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless. Stay safe. And stay dry. Cheers, everyone. Professor, Cosmo, Tatted T, Steve B, Unij 23, Joe Ratz, Gord, all of our moderators, Chris B, Brian, Austin City Limits, Steve, New England Crypto, Troy Atman, Paul, Joseph Hardaway. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow. Cheers.